In this episode, I'm going to show you 8 ways to complete your to-do list in honor of National Checklist Day. I have 2 other great episodes about to-do lists that I'll link for you to check out. So let's get started. Each day I will accomplish one thing on my to-do list. Layla Gifty Akita. To be. Rising to be productive. Rising to be organized. Rising to be inspired. Who are you rising to be? New podcast every Tuesday, new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Hello everyone, I'm Christina B Rising and welcome to the Rising to Be Show. The only place on the internet where I help you rise to be who you want to be. Helping you rise to be productive, organized, and inspired so that you can reach your goals. I upload new videos and podcasts every single week, so be sure to subscribe so that you won't miss out on anything. Shop for workbooks and printables at risingtobe.com. And last but not least, this episode would not be possible without the support of our Rising to Be patrons and channel members. Thank you. Now let's get into this episode. Tip 1. Multitasking masquerade. Forget your to-do list and create a to-do list. Frank Sonnenberg. As I said in a video a while back, multitasking is truly an illusion. I'll leave the video linked if I can remember which one it is. Just saying. Or I'll just link to my time blocking playlist filled with a bunch of other tips and tricks to help you with your time management. But anyway, just because you're multitasking doesn't mean you are actually getting things done. One thing I have noticed about multitasking is that it tires you out faster than if you focus on one thing. And yes, I know that we tend to lean into multitasking because we want to get things done faster. But usually when this happens, we do things with mistakes and tend to not notice these mistakes if we were to have done them one at a time. As someone who used to multitask a lot, I ask you to stop multitasking and to instead start focusing on one thing at a time. Tip 2. Less is more. Subtracting from your list of priorities is as important as adding to it. Frank Sonnenberg. The mental overload trap is incredibly easy to fall into when you are creating a mega list with 20 or even 30 plus tasks. And if you are someone who struggles with anxiety, I strongly advise you to instead focus on 3 to 5 tasks to tackle in your day. My anxiety literally inspired me to create my 5 and Thrive to-do list printable. Why? Because at the time I was making ginormous to-do lists. But what I noticed pretty quickly was that I was wearing myself out by just making a list of things I needed to do. And by thinking of getting all of that done, it just made me want to crawl back into bed and wake up on Christmas morning. You can even use my 5 and Thrive to-do list to build a thriving morning routine, incorporating things like writing your daily affirmations or goals, reading a book or listening to a book, getting active for 30 minutes a day, listening to a motivational podcast like this one, and of course writing in your gratitude journal. You can even use a planner to track these daily goals using stencils or simply shading in the tasks that you have completed for the day. Now, I'm not saying that you'll always be perfect every day, but it will help you to improve and get closer to your goals, allowing you to build discipline in yourself and stay committed to your goals. What 5 goals will you track so that you can thrive every single day? Take control of your day by simply doing 5 things that help you to improve yourself for the better and thrive. These 5 tasks won't have to take a lot of time out of your busy schedule, but they are definitely big enough to make an impact. Order the 5 and Thrive to-do list today, available in 3 unique color options: neutral, colorful, and of course our signature Rising to Be pink and navy color scheme. Available only at risingtobe.com. Tip 3. Worst to best. She learned now that the only way to write a list was to finish something you actually wanted to do. Harriet Evans. You may not want to do what you hate first on your to-do list, but it's also best that you do. Here's why. I've noticed that whenever I do what's best first instead of what's worst first, I end up thinking of my worst task and dreading it the entire day. But when I instead tackle my worst task first, it's out of my mind and I can instead focus on other things. It clears up my mind, which in turn relieves stress. So if you are someone who also struggles with stress, I highly encourage you to try tackling your to-do list from worst to best instead of going from best to worst. Will it be easy? No, but being stressed out is also not easy to do. Pick the type of hard you want to go through and get your to-do list done today. Tip 4, schedule a task. We need to do a better job of putting ourselves on our own to-do list. Michelle Obama. Now I understand that everyone isn't a to-do list person, and that is completely fine, which is why I highly suggest using time blocking in your life. Time blocking is great if you are a student. Time blocking is literally the reason I graduated and was able to keep up with multiple college clubs and organizations, and also working at the library, and then working as a resident assistant, and a love life that didn't overshadow me as a person. Time blocking is incredible for those who are parents, entrepreneurs, CEOs, teachers, managers, and so much more. My time blocking principle can help you find more time in your day to increase your productivity so that you can get more done. Time blocking allows for you to manage your time and split your day into blocks of time. Take control of your day and how you spend your time. Finally, get everything done on your to-do list by scheduling the time for every task you have and getting it accomplished. By having your day blocked out in advance, you won't have to wonder what task to focus on next. You'll just move on to the next task and complete it. Also available on risingtobe.com. Surprise! I have really good products. Check them out. I love to know what you think of them as well. Tip 5. Set working/office hours. One of the secrets of getting more done is to make a to-do list every day. Keep it visible and use it as a guide to action as you go through the day. Jeanine de La Fontaine. Schedule distractions. This may sound a bit counterproductive, but trust me, it helps. You can't always expect that your focus will be 100% every day, or that you can plan out every hour of your day, because things pop up, and trust me, they will. Which is why it's important to give yourself a bit of a buffer zone so that you can easily handle the pop-ups and still get back to your priorities on your to-do list. Or maybe your distraction will be mindless online shopping or scrolling on Instagram. Look, I am guilty of both, which is why I also allow myself to have 30 minutes of whatever I feel like doing in my day, because these are things that will likely pull me away from things that I actually need to get done. But by simply fulfilling these wants in my day, I'm satisfied and I can simply return to what I need to get done. Tip 6. Jumpstart your to-do list. I love lists, always have. Adam Savage. If you are someone who has a habit of procrastinating on your to-do list, then I highly recommend you start with your smallest task first. It gives you a feeling of an accomplishment and will push you to move on to your next task. By starting off with your smallest task, you are able to keep pushing yourself until your to-do list is completely finished. I've noticed that for me personally, using this method, I am able to get a lot of things done. Now, I will say this doesn't work for me every time. And of course, when this method doesn't really work for me, I try to switch to what I'll mention in my next tip. But by focusing on things that are high priorities, but not necessarily tasks that will take an hour or more for me to accomplish, I'm able to not only get things done, but also work ahead, which I love to do. And for those who may or may not know, I really love doing nothing sometimes. I'm able to do nothing more when things have been handled ahead of time. For instance, like my YouTube thumbnails. I mentioned in a few episodes back on how I film and edit my videos, and I'll link that video as well. And by having my content calendar done months in advance, I'm able to solely focus more on the content that goes into the video instead of thinking of how I can top what I covered last week or what I need to cover in the future weeks, which is what I built the foundation of Rising to Be on. In my content making process, I'm hoping to get back in the place of pre-filming while all of you are living life without a mask on. Tip 7. Set working or office hours. Love a Monday morning to-do list. Gets me so pumped up for the week ahead. Patricia Bright. If you are still working from home during these unprecedented times in history, then it is highly important to your overall success that you set hours in your day. Start with your phone, put it on Do Not Disturb mode or even silent mode, and even set up an auto reply message for those who may call you. Mine says this: hey there, I'm currently in work mode right now. I'll respond when I can. If this is urgent though, please respond with urgent and I'll respond. Thanks. Christina B Rising, keep rising to be who you want to be. I got this amazing idea from Jeanine Amapola on YouTube, and I'll link her channel down below. Don't have 10 to 12 priorities scheduled in your day. Instead, chop that down to at least 2 to 3 major tasks. These tasks will take a major chunk out of your day and focus, so you don't want to really add too many of these on your to-do list, because then you'll start to feel like you haven't done anything for the day, when in reality that task will really just take your entire day to complete if needed. Using the goal setting planner to track your progress in working towards reaching your goals will make them more attainable. Included with goal purpose writing prompts, possible obstacle brainstorming pages, goal breakdowns, motivational quote pages, goal progress reports, and so much more. The goal setting workbook helps you plan your goals and put them into action. It's filled with different sheets to break down your goal or multiple goals into bite-sized action steps so that there isn't any way you can fail. Available now at risingtobe.com and on Etsy. Tip 8. Stop diminishing what you can do. Not only should you have a to-do list, but it must become your best friend. Jim Quick. You'll be surprised if you actually approach your to-dos without thinking, I'll never get this done, or I'm not qualified to do this. It's okay if you don't know how to do something, but guess what? If you're watching this video or listening to this podcast, I can guarantee you that there is someone out there who has made a how-to video on what you need to get done. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a month. We overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can accomplish in a decade. I love this quote by Matthew Kelly, and I know that 2020, 2021, and even 2022 has been terrible. Has been crazy. But well, we still have a good bit of years in this decade, so let's make the most of them. And you can also check out my goal setting workbook down below, available right now at risingtobe.com. Write down your priorities first. Why? Because your priorities are typically things on your to-do list that require your attention sooner than later. And of course, as you go, you can add those small tasks that pop up in your brain to your to-do list, because you never want to stop a high priority task to tend to a minor task. Stay focused. You actually get more done by focusing on one thing at a time. Trust me, multitasking is truly an illusion. Think of it this way, whenever you have too many tabs open on your computer, it often works a bit slower. And the same goes for you. So close some tabs and stay on task. And our bonus tip is commit to your reason. I'm controlling and I want everything orderly. And I need lists. My mind goes a mile a minute. I'm difficult on every single level. Sandra Bullock. I'm sure that you've noticed that highly successful people often commit to their goals, and because they are committed to their goals, they do what's necessary to reach them. They may not want to file their taxes or redo their entire website, but they know that they have to do it in order to get where they want to be in life. They are committed to what they said yes to. They don't simply add unnecessary tasks that have nothing to do with their end goal in mind. They try their best to stay focused. Now, I'm not saying that successful people only do what's best for them and never help others out. They do, of course. But what they don't do is put their to-do list to the side and pick up someone else's. They stay focused on what they need to do and stick to it. Today's comment of the day goes to Elena Brown Money at Home. I had the 80-20 principle on my inside table, trying to finish Influence first. Such a good book. Thank you so much for your comment, Lena Brown Money at Home. And you can check out my bookshelf playlist of more books that you may want to read. Share this awesome episode with someone you know who needs it to help them rise to be who they want to be. And don't forget to subscribe. I'd hate for you to miss the next episode. Now let's get into our recap. So let's do a quick recap just in case you missed a tip. Tip 1, multitasking masquerade. Tip 2, less is more. Tip 3, worst to best. Tip 4, schedule a task. Tip 5, set working office hours. Tip 6, jumpstart your to-do list. And tip 7, set office working hours. I feel like I doubled up accidentally. Tip 8, stop diminishing what you can do. And our bonus tip, commit to your reason. Today is the day you're going to slay your to-do list and bring home a major win. Michael Hyatt. I just want to take a moment to thank our patrons and channel members. This episode would not be possible without your support. Thank you. Watch next week's episode early by joining my Patreon for exclusive content. There's 3 tiers to choose from at patreon.com/risingtobe. Thank you so much for stopping by and pressing play. I truly appreciate it. Let me know down below in the comments or your podcast review which tip you'll be using. Keep rising to be who you want to be. Bye, risers.